Okay, so here's the deal. You're actually paying for things that you don't even realize you're paying for. See, a lot of us are so strong on learning content that we believe that the information we consume is going to get us the results that we're looking for. The issue is that a lot of people are so strong also on the analysis paralysis scenario. Now, what exactly is that? So if I give you a breakdown of why some of the things that you're paying for you may not recognize, and as to how you kind of move away from that garbage that's basically draining your life source away, to the actions that you need to take in order to achieve the results that you want, you're going to be able to kind of move forward from where you are today to actually be the version that you so desire to be. So in today's video, I want to break down some of the things that you're actually paying for unconsciously without realizing the fact that you're actually paying for that. And the reason I'm doing this video, right, is because I see a lot of people on YouTube leaving comments on my videos and other individual videos, because I'm always learning myself as well to make sure that the information being shared out there is congruent with what I'm sharing. What I've noticed, the biggest thing I've noticed is people are unwilling to do their own research, right? They ask questions that are actually laid out in the video itself, and they're so lazy to go back into the video research and all that stuff, and they expect solutions like that. And here's the thing, people may not realize the fact that this is one of the biggest and unconscious mistakes that people are making, is because all it takes is going back to that video and replaying that video to find the points, writing the notes down, and taking the time to learn it the right way. Now, it's not easy at the beginning when you're consuming new information. You always have to replay it a few times before you actually get what the content is all about. But the purpose here is that the reason why it's on YouTube in the first place is because it's not only played once and it's gone forever. It's because you can actually go back to it and play it if you need to. So let's get you started and some of the reasons that you're unconsciously paying for some of these things that you don't even realize, and how you can fix that problem so that you can no longer be stuck in analysis paralysis, but actually take the actions to get the desired results and outcomes that you're looking for. Okay, so the first goal is to pay attention. See, a lot of people go through videos, they learn the content, and they basically skim through it. They're not really intentively listening. And what I mean by intentional listening is simply looking at the information to see whether or not it correlates with your situation. Now, I know that a lot of you want to get the information, and there's a lot of content out there that is not necessarily relevant to your situation right away, but you have to be intent towards listening. You have to be intentional towards what the information that you're consuming. Are you going to be taking this information and applying it almost immediately, or are you going to be waiting a couple of years with unlimited amount of consumption that you're going through on a regular basis to initially forget what you just learned? See, there's a difference between the time that you learn to the time that you execute. And by the time you finally execute, well, guess what? That information that you learned a long time ago may not even be relevant anymore. Now, mind you, I try to teach information that's evergreen, that's going to stay, that's going to be consistent, that's universal to the ethical and legal standards of doing things, specifically when it comes to your credit repair. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you wait on to get the results, that you wait on to take the actions. So if you're not intentionally listening, there are mistakes that you're making and it's costing you. So let me give you the example of a cost of not intentionally listening. So the cost here is, okay, now you have issues in your credit report, I'm assuming, right? That's the reason why you've been watching some of my videos, because you want to get the outcomes. I have a specific purpose for my videos. It's to assist you in getting the results that you want on a personal credit level. But when you're intentionally listening, that means that you're taking the consumption, you're taking the information that I'm sharing with you with intent to rectify the situation in your credit reports, with intent to fix the issues that you already got going so that you can get the results and the desired outcome that you're looking for. Now, with that said, you got to know what exactly is in your situation. You have to understand, like, hey, if I don't take this information, if I don't consume it the right way intentionally, then I'm going to make a huge mistake by not applying what I just learned. The mistake here is you're taking the information and you're mixing it with other strategies, perhaps, and you're coming back and saying it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? It's because you, first of all, have a lot of issues. You're looking at a lot of different videos. You're looking at a lot of different strategies all at the same time, and you're trying to get creative with it. But here's the situation. Maybe all these strategies combined don't necessarily give you the outcome that you're looking for, right? For example, bacon tastes good on its own, chocolates taste good on their own, and maybe, you have chips that taste good on their own. But if you mix all that together, the taste is unbearable almost, right? It doesn't really taste good anymore. So if you're looking at it on that scientific context and the taste concept, you have to think about the credit repair services and the industry and the actual processes and procedures, even tactical strategies, to be of the same nature. If you're mixing and matching, you're unconsciously paying for it, and you're paying for it in a very dire way, because what's happening now is you're kind of stuck and they're actually flagging your account and they're putting information on it that's going to be more difficult for you to challenge on the next rounds. So you have to be careful when you're listening to strategies, when you're looking through videos, when you're going through the information, when you're consuming it. You absolutely need to make sure that the information that you're consuming is hyper relevant to you today. It's information that you can use right away and it makes practical sense, and you stick to our process for a couple of weeks, at least, like I said, 60 to 90 days before you jump onto the next strategy, because you haven't given it enough time for the outcome, for the results. So that's the first thing that you're paying for. You're paying for your time, and you cannot get that back. And you're paying also with outcomes that are undesirable. So intentionally listen to get the results that you're looking for. So that's our first point. Okay, so we're done with intentional listening. Now let's talk about an action plan for your credit repair process. The reason why this is so critical is because if you don't have this, you're also going to be paying. So let's talk about why you need an action plan, and also let's discuss why you're going to be paying if you don't have one. Here's the first step. When it comes to your action plan, I'm assuming by this stage you've intentionally listened to the processes and procedures and some of the strategies shared on some of these videos, whether it's mine or other individuals. You'll have to decide whether or not it's relatable to your situation, whether or not it's something that you can apply that would be universal to the purpose that you're looking to obtain, right, or the outcome that you're looking to obtain. So when it comes to creating an action plan, you have to have strategies that are laid out in a very simplistic format. A lot of people try to overcomplicate things in credit repair, and that also creates an overcomplication when it comes to fixing your credit, because now you're jamming it up with unreasonable things, especially ineffective strategies. And essentially what's happening is you're stacking those things together, and it's kind of working against you to get the results that you're looking for. It's actually impeding your ability to not only obtain credit, but also to be able to fix the errors that are there, because you've decided to jam it up with a content or comment that's basically giving the credit bureaus a green card to automatically re-verify every time you dispute or challenge it. And you don't want to be stuck in that process. So an action plan is essentially taking information that you learned, making sure that that information is congruent with what you're trying to obtain, and ensuring that you have a laid out strategy that's going to attack the credit reporting agencies for non-compliance and for misleading information that are there that's causing you the damage in your credit scores, as well as your ability to borrow, because now you're getting rejected by institutions for unreasonable things, right? So the action plan should be congruent with what you're looking to get done. If, and I say this very wholeheartedly, if the strategy is giving you information that's like shortcuts, I would 100% avoid that, right? Because what's happening now is we know that the credit repair processes that you're following should 100% be legal and authentic. See, a lot of people coming back to some of my videos after a year of looking through them, trying to do shortcuts and saying, oh, these companies are being shut down for illegal tactics. Can you help me? Well, here's the thing. Why didn't you listen to the process at the beginning? Instant gratification. That's why. And guess what the mistake was? The mistake was you wasted a whole year where you could have taken your family to here, but you were stuck here because you're so busy on shortcuts and you have no idea the sinkhole that you're going straight through at 500 miles an hour. Right? And when you're reaching that sinkhole, there is no way out of hell, my friends. So I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to this video, if you've been following me for a while, I'm not saying everybody's content is bad, but at least try to follow the ones that are legal and ethical. Don't try no gray area stuff. Don't try no shady stuff. See, a lot of people out there trying to promote their stuff and they're talking about great strategies, and then all of a sudden they're throwing in the mix a CPN number. And if you look at the Section 18, which is the Criminal Code of the United States, deception, fraudulent applications, things of that nature that you're intentionally supposed to use your ass to somebody instead of replace it with a CPN, can land you in prison and $1 million of fines minimum, up to 2 years of prison time. And that's the least of your concerns. The financial damage beyond that, your file, your name, your reputation in the financial service industry, the database and fraud that they're going to be creating for you, the Treasury Black Book listing for you when it comes to not only the IRS, but the Treasury services and the financial institution services. I mean, do you think it's really worth it for a stupid CPN number? Yet people are still doing it. So with that set aside, okay, so create an action plan. So going back to this, right? Create an action plan. And this action plan should give you a strategy that is congruent with what you're trying to achieve. So the cost of this, like I said, is if you don't follow a process, if you don't intentionally listen, if you don't really take your time to dissect the information that you need and try to relate it to your situation, you're going to be paying because you're going to be paying in time. You're not going to get that time back. And let's go over a financial example. What if you're supposed to get a mortgage, and that mortgage could be worth a couple of $100,000, right? But you get a higher interest rate. The cost of that mortgage over time is going to be a lot more significant. You'll be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra fees. But what if you don't even get the home because your credit score is not congruent or not to the point where you need it to be? How are you paying in that situation? You're losing a home. You're losing something that you can go into that's worth X amount of dollars. That's the value that you're losing. The stress also, your peace of mind. You don't get that 1 year back. You don't get time back, period. Right? So yesterday I was visiting a friend. Let me give you a backstory on this. Yesterday I was visiting a friend's father. Right? We drove 2 hours to visit that individual. And he's been in the bed for a couple of years now. And his health condition is no good. And he's been there, he's unhealthy, and his family's taking care of him. And I look at that situation, I'm like, damn, it can happen to any of us. And here's the thing, the time doesn't reverse these type of things. You can't go back in time. So imagine some of you guys are watching this, and God forbid, somebody close to you goes through that situation. And maybe it's someone so dear and near to you, like your family or something like that, directly related to you. And you have the ability to take care of them. But unfortunately, your ability is crippled because your situation is no good. Your income is not high enough because you didn't leverage your credit, or you didn't go through a situation where you had the opportunity to intentionally listen and take action, but you haven't done so. So I'm thinking about these things and I'm like, damn, this can happen to any of us. So imagine some of that stuff, right? Imagine your scenario, like live every day as though it were your last. And if you were to do so, how would you treat your credit differently? How would you treat the actions that you take differently? How would you treat listening to certain information and for the sole intent of listening and learning? How would you treat that differently? How would you approach it differently? So that's why an action plan is so essential. And that's why you're going to be paying for it if you don't pay attention to that. Because time, like I said, is the biggest asset you have. So you have to learn how to use it the most effective way possible. Because if you don't, you're going to be paying drastically for it. Okay, so the final piece here is the brain space. And this is something that I like to emphasize on a lot with my students, as well as some of the people who are learning the information from me on the course level, and of course mentoring them directly. The brain space is essentially the amount of information that you're consuming and the effectiveness of that information and how good it is. The goal is very simple, right? If you're consuming content, and if the intent of that consumption is to fix your credit, and let's say you take the action plan and all that good stuff, the brain space really is the aspect of how much content you're learning that's stacking up on top of the previous information. Is it really helpful? Is it really helping you achieve a better outcome? Is it making the strategy that you learn more effective? Is it giving you the information that you're looking for? So when you start at a position and you're like, hey, this is my starting point and I'm not going to get the best results just with this information, but it's something I need to take in order to test my knowledge, in order to test the way that if I can actually get the outcomes that I'm looking for, that's where you do it, right? And you're like, okay, well, now I have this information, and what are some of the things I can do now that's going to give me the results? What kind of information can I stack on top of that to get the best outcomes possible for my situation? So that's what brain space is all about. It's really about stacking the information on top of each other to make these strategies that you're learning more effective, to make the content that you're learning a lot more congruent with what you're trying to achieve. So keep that in mind when you're going through a credit repair process or a journey. I think it's very critical. The biggest brain space, honestly, like outside of the free videos that you get here on this channel, as well as some of the other stuff that you're watching, I think is to really up your knowledge. It's to take their premium level stuff. And the reason I say that is because, look, you're paying for things without unconsciously knowing, right? So not having the right knowledge with the right brain space and not having the right premium level content, and I believe you deserve that, right? I hope so. I hope you treat yourself with respect to say that I deserve the best when it comes to understanding the content that I need to learn, right? From that perspective, if you invest in yourself on a premium level, right? So like you're really taking your knowledge to the next level. You're really stacking your brain space with the highest and most richest content possible. You're gonna get the absolute best outcomes. And the reason I say that is because now your strategies are deployed in a way that's very high level instead of the basic level stuff. Now, mind you, even with basic level stuff, you can still get the outcomes that you're looking for. You still get some of the results that you're looking for. But a high level execution really makes things a bit more, well, not a bit more, significantly more efficient. And you're going to get results that you never thought possible, unimaginable results, right? But the reason why you need to think about that is because that also requires two things. Number one, you have to invest in yourself. So I've made it so that it's not extremely expensive. See, a lot of people think investing $1,000 in the Ultimate Personal Credit Mastery is an expensive thing. It's not an expensive thing because your time is the most expensive thing, right? A lot of people earn $1,000 a day, and you're probably think that's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Today's society made it so that it's easy to earn that kind of income. But if you're not able to understand some of the things at the beginning, and we're going to talk about income producing videos much later in our journey. See, the reason I don't throw all this stuff in the mix right away, it's because I don't want you guys to be confused and think that I'm trying to kind of, position myself to be, master of all trades, which I am not, right? I do things in a very specific way to make sure that whatever I deliver, you can get the outcomes. Income producing, yeah, I'm good at that. When it comes to credit, I'm good at that. Putting deals together, buying and selling companies, I'm good at that. I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to tell you here, fix your tax like this. Do these type of things like that. Do affiliates like this. I don't focus on these type of things because for me, I know the reality of these situations, right? I'm not trying to be a person who's desperate for you to pay attention to the strategies that I'm teaching you. I don't care if I don't have 100,000 followers, because with the very few that I have that are dedicated to their tasks, we can make 8 to 10 figure deals in a matter of months. So having 100,000 followers for me doesn't really change the way I do things. What changes is how you treat the information I'm giving you. Now, mind you, if I had 100,000 followers, we'd have a bigger community who's taking the information and doing it a strategic way that makes sense ethically, and they're positioning themselves to get the results that you're looking for, in addition to starting to build their wealth in a progressive way that's going to help them build wealth. I would love that. But like I said, I want you to really focus on the brain space. Really pay tribute to the premium type of stuff that you need, and try to invest in that. Now, I'm not saying that, Ultimate Personal Credit Mastery is going to solve all your problems, but it's definitely a very big start and a big leap to the desired outcomes that you're looking for. Now, with all that said, I hope that you took the information that I've taught you today to heart. I hope you understood the reason and the significance of intentionally listening to get the results that you're looking for, making sure that it's relatable to you and your situation, understanding how to create an action plan, which is very critical, or else you'll be paying with time, which you don't want to do because you don't get time back, as well as having a brain space that's basically stacking information from previous knowledge to existing and new knowledge and future perspective knowledge to get you the results in a much more efficient way, and investing in premium level content that's basically investing in yourself to get the desired outcomes that you're looking for. With that said, I hope this video was helpful and gave you some idea on what you need to really pay attention to, and gave you some direction on what are some of the things you should focus on. If you like this video, please give this a like, leave a comment below on some of the strategies that I've shared with you. On your personal opinion, what do you think about the info that I shared? I'd love to hear from you, so let's have a discussion. And if you're interested in upgrading your knowledge to the next level, I invite you over to the Ultimate Personal Credit Mastery 2.0. You'll be learning strategies to fix your credit, to up your mindset, to rethink some of the strategies that you got going on, to create an action plan, as well as to get the best results based on the industry's top level tier information when it comes to fixing your personal credit. You'll also learn information about how to start your credit repair business, as well as how to perform a credit sweep, which is one of the most sought after information and strategies out there in the credit space. So with that said, this is your guide and mentor, Ali Tarafter. Always a pleasure giving you content and videos. Keep watching, and don't forget to share this video with those that you feel would benefit, because I'm always trying to reach new people. Help me grow this channel and help yourself in the process to get the best results that you're looking for. See you guys next time. Bye for now.